the pride of Chapa, and I want to welcome you to this special edition of Born to Inspire. A special welcome to our comrades from Rwanda, from Zambia, from Kenya, from South Africa, all the Ugandans who live in the diaspora, and all the comrades who dwell in the Pearl of Africa, Uganda. Once again, you're most welcome to this edition of Born to Inspire. In today's episode, we shall basically look at team building and leadership. Now, I remember one day when I was doing the Speakers Bureau training in Rwanda, in a hotel called Hilltop Hotel in Remera. A young boy called Nkurunziza asked me a question that, what is that one thing that I can do to become a good leader? And then in my head I was asking myself, what is that one thing you can do to become a good leader? So my answer to him was, the one thing you must do in order to become a good leader is that you must know that there is more than one thing you must do to become a good leader. Because if you look at the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership according to John C. Maxwell, it tells you that you have 21 things you must do. It's not one, there are 21. So Nkurunziza in Despire again asked another question, that are leaders born? And I looked at him and I was also wondering, are leaders born? But because I've never seen an born leader, so my answer was, of course leaders are born. Because how can you be a leader who was not born? But I think what he was trying to inquire was, are people born with a certain leaning towards leadership? And my answer is yes, because there are people who are born with a certain leaning towards football, towards handball, towards academics. And then there are people who are born with a certain leaning towards leadership. But then, can you train yourself or can you learn how to become a better leader? The answer is yes. So in these episodes, we shall see how do you equip yourself as a person with the skills which can make you a good leader or a good team builder. Phase 1 of team building, it has 17 indisputable laws, and we shall look at 7 of them in phase 1. We shall look at the role of the big picture, which says that the goal is more important than the role. We shall look at the role of significance, which says that one is too small a number to achieve greatness. We shall look at the role of the catalyst, which says that winning teams have players who make things happen. We shall look at the role of the price tag, which says that the team fails to reach its potential when it fails to pay the price. So that means for you to attain your potential, there is a price you must pay. Now, short of that, you don't reach the epitome, so that's the role of the price tag. We shall look at the role of Mount Everest, which says that as the challenge escalates, the need for teamwork elevates. We shall also look at the role of the chain, which says that the strength of the team is impacted by its weakest link. Then finally, in phase 1 of team building, we shall look at the role of the bad apple, which says that rotten attitude spoils the team. So that will be the phase 1 of team building. Then we shall also look at leadership, at the phase 1 of leadership, because there are 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, but then in phase 1 we shall look at only 6. We shall look at the role of the lead, which says that leadership determines the level of effectiveness. In other words, no organization has ever grown or can grow beyond the lead of its leadership. For example, if my leadership lead is a 4, if I may use my hands to illustrate, if this is the lead of my leadership and maybe it's a 4, it means if this is my organization or my business, the best thing it can attain is a 3 or a 2 or a 1, and in rare cases it can attain a 4. So if it tries to rise up, it will be limited by the lead of my leadership. So what happens is, if you equip yourself with better skills and you grow your lead from a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7 to an 8, even your business can now grow from a 2 and a 3 up to a 7 or an 8. So we shall see how the role of the lead can help us improve the effectiveness of our businesses. We shall look at the role of influence, and it says that the true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. We shall look at the role of the process, which says that leadership develops daily, not in a day. We all know that success is a journey, not a destination. And as one of my favorite scholars, Les Brown, always puts it, that in the process of you working hard to achieve your dreams, what you become in the process, the character you build, the faith you manifest, the personality you attain in the process of you achieving your dreams, it's much, much bigger than the dream itself. So that's the law of the process. We shall look at the law of navigation, which says that anyone can steer the ship, but it takes a leader to change the course. We shall look at the law of E.F. Hutton. I love this law so much. The law of E.F. Hutton says that when the real leader speaks, people listen. And finally, in phase 1 of leadership, we shall look at the law of solid ground. And the law of solid ground says that trust is the foundation of leadership. A leader cannot continuously break trust with his people and at the same time continue to influence them. So we shall look at the law of solid ground as we wind up with phase 1 of the 21 repeatable laws of leadership. How are these laws classified, or what are the qualifying tests of these laws? Because we have leadership thoughts, we have leadership principles, but what makes something to qualify to be called a leadership law? 1, these laws are not based on culture, gender, or age. They cross all cultures. You can take them to the Western culture, you can take them to the Eastern culture, you can take them to the Hindus. They cross all genders and they cross all ages. You can take them in the times of Caesar, in the times of Pontius Pilate, you can take them in the times of Napoleon Bonaparte, and these laws will still serve you the same way. 2, these laws relate and apply to all communities. You can take them to the academic community, or the one that is called the academia. You can take them to the religious community, to the business community, and even to the government communities. So these laws relate and apply to all communities. The third qualifying test is that they are recognized by other leaders as leadership laws. And finally, these laws stand the test of time. You can take them to the times of the Bible, you can take them to the times of Moses, and they will still serve you as they would serve you in the present. So that is how these laws are qualified. Now the good news is, these laws can be learned. That means you and me, we can learn these laws. That's the good news. You may find that you do well in law number 1, law number 3, law number 7, law number 15, but then you may find that there are other laws you don't do well in. So these laws stand alone. You not being a good navigator does not mean that you can't be a good catalyst. So we shall see how these laws stand alone and how each law independently can help us to become the best people we can. Point number 3 is that these laws carry consequences. Now, there is a time I was teaching these laws in a school called Mbara High School, and a young boy called Ronlin stood up and said that, Nifan Jr., I disagree with one of the laws. And maybe he wanted me to say, oh sorry, what is wrong with them? What don't you understand in the laws? And my answer was very simple. I said, I don't care. Because these are laws, they are not asking you to buy into them. They are only telling you that if you don't respect them, then they carry consequences. For example, if you look at the law of gravity, you may not need to buy into the law of gravity. What you do, get a storage building, go on the 10th floor, jump out, and in a few seconds you will automatically buy into the law of gravity. So these laws just tell you that they carry consequences if you don't respect them. And finally, these laws are the foundation of leadership. This is where you base your leadership career on. Now, as we are going to look at our law number 1, let me share with you this story. It's called the story of the piglet. There happened to be a family whereby the man had the desire to have pigs at his home. So he had a friend whose pig had given birth to so many piglets. So what this man did, he told the wife that I'm going to see my friend so that he can also give me a piglet, and we have a piglet here. So the wife gave this man a sack and he tied it on the bicycle, so he went to go and get the piglet. But then a few meters to where he was supposed to pick the piglet was a trading center. So he first stopped there and he went to a bar to take some alcohol. In local language, they call it liquor. So after taking about 3, 4, 5 bottles, he proceeded with his journey to go and collect the piglet. So what happened was, he reached and he was given a piglet, he put it in a sack, and on his way back home, when he reached the same trading center, the man told him that you can add in 2 or 3 bottles. So he left the bicycle somewhere with the piglet in the sack, and he went to add in more bottles of beer. So in the neighborhood, there was a gentleman whose dog had given birth to puppies, and he also had the same desire to have piglets at his home. So what he did, he had the sound of the piglet from the sack, and he rushed very fast and exchanged what was a piglet with a puppy. So this gentleman, on his way from the bar, he got his bicycle and ran directly home. Now when he reached home, the wife was the first person to check in the sack, and this wife was shocked because she expected the piglet, and what she found in the sack was a puppy. So she asked this gentleman that, had you gone to actually bring a piglet or the puppy? The gentleman said, I want to bring the piglet and I'm very sure it is what I brought. When the man tried to check in, he also found it was a puppy. Now in his mind he was saying that, at what point does a piglet become a puppy? So he was so angry, he got the puppy, put it in a bag, he ran back to the gentleman who had given it to him. So, but the same challenge was, before he reached the home where he had gotten the piglet from, he again went back to the bar to take some more beer, like someone who is addicted to something. So when the other person who had exchanged the piglet with the puppy saw this man coming back, he knew that maybe he had been identified. So as this gentleman was taking beer, he ran and he exchanged what was the puppy with the piglet. So this gentleman reaches the home where he had gotten the piglet from, and he's quarreling. He's like, James, I knew that you were my friend, and of all the people you couldn't give me a puppy instead of a piglet. So this gentleman said, I gave you a piglet because it's what you came for and it's what you picked. So on checking in the sack, now the gentleman found the piglet inside. Now what he did, he looked at the piglet and he said, you piglet, you should make a choice. If you want to become a puppy, be a puppy. And if you want to become a piglet, be a piglet. Because in life, there are some of the circumstances whereby people camouflage and you're not sure who is who. Is this person my friend? Is he my business partner or not? So at that moment, you need someone to be clear on, are you a puppy or you are a piglet? Do you want to soar with the eagles or you want to be with the chicken? So that story will help us understand better on how these concepts of leadership work. Let's look at our episode 1, or our role number 1, which is the role of E.F. Hutton. Now, I love this role passionately. The role of E.F. Hutton says that when the real leader speaks, people listen. You find that in a group of people, there may be someone who has a title, but then there may be someone who has the influence. So when you have a decision, a contentious decision to be made as a group, people will turn their eyes to the E.F. Hutton or to the influence and see what is he saying. Now, what happens is, for example, if I have a decision that I want to be passed in my group, if I have maybe the position and I'm the president, but then I know that someone called maybe Albert is the E.F. Hutton or the influencer in the group, what I do is I take him for lunch first, so that I have a meeting before a meeting. So when I take him for lunch, I try to make him buy the idea. I try to sell him the dream. Now, when this E.F. Hutton buys into the idea that I was talking about, tomorrow if I come to the real meeting, it's a matter of saying that actually me and Albert have been talking about this and we believe it's the best thing for our group to move forward. So the role of the E.F. Hutton tells us that you should never have a meeting with everyone until you have a meeting with the influencers, because those are the people who influence decisions. Now, what would be the difference between real leaders and positional leaders, because if you look at the law of influence, it has 5 different levels of influence. There is the influence level whereby someone has a position. There is the influence level where someone has respect. There is an influence level where someone has produced something for the company for so long that it's called productivity level. So when you look at positional leaders, for example, the difference they have with real leaders is that positional leaders always have a title but not a following, while real leaders always have the following but not always the title. Positional leaders influence positional people. For example, I'm Dr. So-and-so, I'm the CEO of this company. So you find that what they take in as their lead is the position they are holding, while real leaders influence everyone. Now, if you find that you have to tell people that you are the leader of the pack, then you know that you are not. Because people cannot just follow you because you have told them that I'm your leader, now follow me. It cannot happen. Now, what makes someone a real leader? What makes someone a real leader? We have about 8 points. 1, real leaders become real leaders because of character. In other words, who they are. 2, real leaders become real leaders because of relationships. In other words, who they know. 3, real leaders become real leaders because of knowledge. In other words, what they know. 4, real leaders become real leaders because of intuition. In other words, what they feel. Because you find these people feel what other people don't feel. 5, real leaders become real leaders because of experience. In other words, where they have been. 6, real leaders become real leaders because of the past successes. In other words, what they have done as individuals. And finally, real leaders become real leaders because of ability. In other words, what they can do. Now, if you look at these points clearly, you can identify that if you have a group of people, someone who is having the position may not be that person who possesses these attributes. So that's when the law of E.F. Hutton comes in, which says that when the real leader in the group speaks, people listen. In conclusion, I want to share with you this story. It's the story, I can say, it's my career story. What I went through to finally make a decision of being an electrical engineer. Because I remember when I was in P2, we had a song which went like, what will you be, what will you be, what will you be after studies? And then you would bring in the part of what you exactly want to be after studies. So people would come and say, I want to be a teacher, or others would say, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer. So when it came to my part, I always said that I want to be a pilot, I want to be a pilot, I want to be a pilot after studies. So my teacher, I remember, she said that, Nevan Junior, from today onwards, look at yourself as a pilot. Because he told me that you must fake it until you make it. So when I went home that evening, I have a typical Muchiga father, a typical Muchiga. So when I went home that evening, I told my dad that, you know what, from today onwards, you can start calling me the pilot. So the man looked at me and he kept quiet. So after like 40 minutes, for me I thought that things had ended. After like 40 minutes, he called me outside and he said, what did you say exactly? I told him that from today onwards you can start calling me pilot. He said, why? I told him that because when I was at school they asked us what you want to become after studies. And when I told them that I want to be a pilot, they said that start looking at yourself as a pilot already. So out of the blue I had a very hot slap in my ear. So I was wondering, now what have I done? Yes, I know he's a Muchiga man, but then his slap was too hard. So he asked me that, he told me actually to look up in the sky. It was at around 8 p.m. to look up in the sky and I tell him how many aeroplanes are passing. So the truth is, even birds were not passing. So I told him that there is no aeroplane I'm seeing in the sky. So his next question was, you want to become a pilot and then you know, in whose aeroplane? Because if you're not seeing anything up, you want to become a pilot in whose aeroplane? So somehow, somewhere, he gave me enough reasons for me to forgive or not forget about my dream profession or my dream career. So that's how I gave up the dream of being a pilot. Now, when I reached senior 2, I was faced with almost the same dilemma because in Ugandan setup, you find that from senior 1 to senior 2, you're doing about 18 subjects, most of them which are unnecessary for sure. So in senior 2, it's when you start being shaped the person you want to become in terms of profession or career. So I reached a point and in my heart I wanted to become a lawyer. So when I called my dad for guidance, his question was very simple. In our family, okay, in our clan, whom do you know that has the capacity to employ a lawyer? And the truth is, because our clan is one of the poorest clans I know, at that point in time, I said that I don't know anyone who can employ a lawyer in our clan. So his next question was, you want to become a lawyer in whose law firm? So he again gave me reasons why dreaming big was not good. So I asked him, I put the ball in his hand, that what do you want me to exactly become? He told me that I want you to study hard and become an engineer because 1, engineers are paid a lot of money. 2, engineers get jobs easily. So when you finish, you can easily get a company which takes you. So study hard and become an engineer. So somehow, somewhere, the career I'm pursuing, that was how it was directed to be. But the challenge with such a career, or with other people that I've interacted with, you find that you're an engineer by profession, but maybe you are a comedian, as it's what you're having as your career. You find someone is an engineer, but then he's a politician. So because of the lack of career guidance, you find that something you really studied for 17 years in school is not what is your bread earner. So what I would encourage is that if we can understand these laws, whether we are parents, whether we are students, whether we are kids, it can help us here and there to know you from the bottom of your heart, what is it that you want to really become. So thank you very much for watching this episode. The next time we meet, we shall be talking about the law of solid ground, which says that trust is the foundation of leadership.